this is Rainbow Harmony, here to help you find balance and peace to live a more colorful life. And this is a pick a card reading for a love message that you need to hear today. So this is not going to be my typical like how do they feel type of love reading. It might not even be like about a specific person or thing that's on your mind, but this is actually like the deeper soul spiritual message that you need to hear about like your situation and your love life, self-love, all that kind of stuff. A little bit more spiritual today. So don't worry, for those of you guys who are here for the love tea, I'm definitely going to have some pick a card readings coming soon to check into your specific person and all that fun stuff. But today we're going to dive a little bit deeper, okay? Maybe talk about some blockages or like what energy is like really coming out of you right now and what you're attracting in love. I've really been loving this new deck. It's the Journey of Love Oracle deck. And I also just love the illustrations on all of these cards. They're absolutely beautiful. And the messages here are so deep. So this is a newer deck you might have noticed I've been starting to work with. And I'm getting to a point with it where I'm able to kind of like not use the book as much. And so I'm just really excited to share this with you guys today. So for this message, you have 3 options. You can choose a crystal to get your message, okay? So we've got number 1, which is the amethyst crystal. Number 2, the crystal ball. Or number 3, the rose quartz. Let's see if I can get them all lined up. Got number 1, 2, or 3. Choose the crystal you feel drawn to the most, and then when you have your crystal, you know which one you like. You can head down to the description or to the timestamps below in the comments where you can just simply click on that timestamp and instantly fast forward to your reading. If you choose number 1, we're going to get started right away. So for those of you guys who choose number 1, here is your message. Let's see what your card is. And you are getting the cloak. See if I can get this without the reflection of my ring light. There we go. It's such a beautiful image. You see someone here that is obviously dressed in a cloak. And it looks as if the skies were dark or gray, or there was like some kind of storm, but now the clouds are parting and this beautiful like dawn energy is coming in, these bright colors. This person they're not necessarily looking down, they're starting to look up, but there's this water all around, which makes me think about like reflection, like they were staring down into the water, looking at the reflection, but now they're looking up because they're noticing these beautiful colors and this beautiful new dawn, a new beginning. So in fact, what the cloak card is all about is about a time in your life where you're ready to get back out there in love. It's mentioning and acknowledging that perhaps you felt for a while like you needed to pull back a little bit from dating and pull back from really putting your heart out there in love, because you are working more on your transformation and more on your self-growth and more on your inner growth. So it's like you spent some time pulling back from life, discovering yourself. Maybe it was because something went down. Maybe you had a really bad breakup or got out of, God forbid, a toxic or abusive relationship. So you had to pull back a little bit and work more on healing yourself, being there for yourself, finding yourself again. I even see energy about you working a lot on your boundaries. So this cloak is like a healing cloak. It's like a protection cloak where you are trying to just cover yourself in protective energy, pulling back from the world. And I don't think we're necessarily talking about this whole lockdown thing, because inevitably everybody's had to literally pull back and be inside and be on lockdown. I'm seeing for you that even before that, you had to pull back a little bit. So I'm not trying to say like, oh, you haven't been putting yourself out there. Maybe you've tried a little bit but it feels to me like this sad energy that was around you, of almost like a little bit of jadedness in love, a little bit of hopelessness. And I've been through that. After my last breakup, it was years ago, but gosh, I remember just feeling like, F love, I don't want to do this ever again. It's not worth it. I'm never getting married. I'm just going to have fun, and I'm not letting anybody get close to me again. So I think after being hurt, or after going through a lot in life, it's very normal to pull back, to shut down, to not want to let people in, to not trust. I think it's a natural like defense kind of mechanism we have after being through something difficult, or after being hurt or taken advantage of by someone, that we don't want to just put our heart out there on the line anymore. So there's a message telling you like it was okay. You needed this time to shield yourself, to cloak yourself, to protect yourself, and to reflect back on the past and past relationships and past traumas, and to just be on your own for a little while. But the message here with this card is telling you it's time to shed your cloak. Now, when you go back out into the dating world, things are going to be different. I feel like some of you guys are like, I just keep attracting F-boys or F-girls. I keep attracting like people who are jerks. I keep attracting people who don't want to be serious. I feel like I keep going out there, and like what I'm attracted to isn't finding me back. And it's almost like you've given up. But there's a lot that's happened in this time you spent in solitude, or you've spent more within. There's so much that's happened. There's so much growth that's happened in you. And I feel like you're not gonna be having the same experiences you had in the past. None of those experiences were really your fault. Sometimes people are just jerks when you date them. I don't think, maybe you're overthinking a little bit, like, why do I keep attracting this? Sometimes we attract things, and other times people are just horrible and take advantage. There's some bad people out there. So you're afraid you're gonna get entangled with that again. You're over it. You don't really have hope. You're seeing your friends and other people getting married, or like finding the one, or finding their twin flame or their soulmate, and you're just thinking, this isn't for me, and I'm over this. When you're ready, I want you to know that you can put yourself back out there. Things are gonna be different. Part of the message of the cloak is like you need to shed the cloak, but know that it's still inside you. It's still protecting you. It's still in your heart. You can trust yourself to have the boundaries that you need to have as you move forward dating. You can trust yourself that if you recognize someone as someone that reminds you of like some toxic energy or toxic person from your past, that you will recognize that person clearly and have the strength and the energy to cut off ties with that person if you need to. So this is a message about trusting yourself. It's not even about trusting the divine or trusting God or trusting the universe. It's telling you trust yourself. You can trust yourself because you knew you needed time to pull back, and you gave yourself that time. But I just sense like a little bit of a sadness and a longing in you, and that's mixed with the jadedness of not feeling like you don't want to put yourself back out there. But I think that sadness, that longing, that antsy kind of restless energy, some of it could be attributed to the lockdown, but I think it's a side of you and a part of you that wants to believe in love again, that wants to put yourself back out there, that wants to manifest a soulmate, that wants to try something different, that wants to flirt and have fun and experience like a soul connection. So I just want you to know that you're worthy of love. You don't have to hide anymore from it. You don't have to like hide in the shadows. You can put yourself back out there again when you're ready. So I love what it says here in the book. I'm just going to read part of it to you. It says, this card is a message that you can safely release the forms of security that you once held. You do not have to abandon your boundaries with others. Rather, your boundaries are so functional that you can enter into relationships with more openness, trusting that your boundary will naturally assert itself when necessary, giving you the connection to yourself that you need when you need it, without having to withdraw from a relationship entirely. It makes me think like, I've been through this before, where you're just like all or nothing. You get to this point where you've been burned by so many people, maybe even friendships, that you're like, you know what, I'm better off alone. I'm better off just with me and my dog, or me and my cat, I'm not gonna F with people anymore. I'm done. I've been through that for so long. I know what that's like, but I just feel the message here is like, you've changed. You can trust yourself. You can trust your boundaries. Things are gonna be a little bit different this time around. Get out there, make some friends, see if you can flirt a little bit, and you might just surprise yourself. I think this is actually a really positive card telling you like love is coming in your life if that's what you're looking for. So yes, this is a message about just putting yourself back out there. Once the lockdown's over, stay safe, stay home. All right, I hope that this message resonates with you. Thank you again for your support, and I will see you next time. Peace out. So for those of you guys who choose number 2, let's go ahead and get your message. So we're getting a card that is called Her Grace. And you can see this interesting like spiral dance energy movement in what appears to be a feminine figure or a goddess dancing and flowing, and it's just an image of tranquility and grace and harmony. I love these colors. So this is a message that if you were drawn to this crystal and drawn to this number, drawn to this card, that your feminine energy is reawakening inside of you, or really desires and longs to be expressed and explored. Statistically, I know that there are a huge percentage of women who are following me on this channel, so I'm definitely going to be speaking to women. But if you happen to be male, this is definitely a message for you about connecting with your feminine side, which is more like creative and receptive and soft and spiritual and intuitive. Or if you perhaps are someone who identifies as non-binary or is somewhere else on the spectrum, because I am someone who does believe gender is a spectrum, this could also apply to you. We're talking more here about the energy of the divine feminine. I think many of us women in specific, but also us people, in order to function here on a planet that is very patriarchal, which means it's ruled by a distorted masculine energy, we sometimes have to become harder. We have to take on more masculine energies in order to survive, in order to be heard, in order to get our point across, in order to be taken seriously, in order to get a job. And so sometimes that energy can harden us. This happens sometimes to single mothers or to people in their family who are having to be parentified. People who've dealt with toxic or abusive families, you have to become really strong and independent and harder and more masculine. It happens a lot to females in the workplace, or perhaps people who are more soft and sensitive and have more divine feminine qualities in the workplace. And it just happens in all different systems. In the school system, we're taught more about logic and structure and organization and hard work than we are encouraged to be intuitive and receptive and soft and open and creative and harmonious. So I feel like it's no secret that the divine feminine isn't necessarily as embraced in our culture. And it wasn't always like this way back in the day. Back in the day, you guys, there is evidence and proof that a lot of societies and tribes, villages and whatnot were actually matriarchal, were led by wonderful spiritual priestesses or princesses. And I think that is so cool. Women or people who had divine feminine energy, who were recognized as being like a conduit of spirituality. So there are certain aspects of our natural states of being that have been lost over time, that have been discouraged over time. That's a whole other conversation. But the point here is that your feminine energy really wants to be expressed, and for some of you, it might not be natural. And I happen to be one of those women where I struggled with my like feminine aspects. I am a Aquarius, and so it's like more of a masculine, divine masculine energy ruling sign. So in order to balance my energies, I've had to work a lot more on my femininity. So how can you become more feminine? How can you embrace this? Well, the book is talking about how you might already naturally feel an urge to perhaps participate in dance or creation or write songs or to take a more receptive approach in your life. Becoming more feminine isn't always about your appearance. You can dress very masculine and you can look very masculine, or you can be a male who is presenting very strongly or with a more what is considered to be more masculine type of presence, but it's all about the energy that is inside of you. So in order to embrace your feminine side, we got to realize what the masculine energy is. The masculine energy is very protective. The masculine energy is all about providing, provision, acting, pursuing. It's an energy that has a lot to do with go, go, go. It's an outward moving energy. It's kind of impulsive. It's strong. It's speaking out. It's taking action. It's pursuing. It's the hunter. And the masculine energy is also very logical. And so it's very rational, okay? Now the feminine energy is more receptive. Doesn't mean you just sit around and do nothing, but it's more in tune with the natural cycles and rhythms of the body and also of the earth. The feminine, divine feminine energy is more receptive to inspiration and more creative, like the gatherer type of energy, the collector, spinning things into gold. It's transmuting energy. And so it's more at home in the heart and expressive with the emotions. It's a healing energy. It's a nurturing energy. It's an energy that it's just very, very nurturing and accepting and maybe even still. It's very soft. It's very harmonious. It's very go with the flow. It's like let go of control type of energy. It's surrender, but in a beautiful way. Trust. So in order to work on this energy in yourself, there's so many different things you can do. I could probably give a whole course on this, but just some things that are on the top of my mind. Maybe you can write some ideas down below too. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Are instead of pushing for something to happen in your life, maybe doing ritual or prayers or manifestation process and spending time instead tuning into your natural rhythms and trusting your heart on the next step. Rest and relaxation is part of tuning into your feminine energy. Like, for instance, if you're a woman and you get your period, it's about putting your feet up and laying on the couch and just deep breathing and relaxing instead of pushing yourself to clean your whole house and get all the work done. It's being present with your body. So when I'm tuning into my feminine energy, I'm asking my body what it needs. So I'm hydrating, trying to eat healthy. I'm asking myself, do I really want to push my body today, or do I really want to let my body rest? It's also about listening to my body when it feels like it needs to move or when it feels like it needs to stretch. Meditation is a great way to get in touch with your feminine side. And also there's a natural sensuality and type of goddess energy that comes from embracing your feminine. So this could be expressed through any type of creative project or even dance. I'd like to read a little bit about what the book says about this. The goddess is awakening within your life. It may be within your own body, within a sensual deepening of a relationship with your own body, or with the body of another. Through expanding creatively, a sudden burst of feeling that you cannot logically explain. Perhaps it's a desire to move. Perhaps it's a desire to dance, to express yourself, to sing, to write music, to draw, to play in nature, to swim, and to collect shells, and lie on your back in the moonlight, gazing at the stars. Doesn't that sound amazing? I know a lot of us are in lockdown. I wish I could be collecting shells and lying on the beach right now, personally. So the goddess is calling to you from ancient times, calling you to allow her more deeply into your life. Celebrate the divine feminine. She's coming to life for you. Whether you are a man or a woman or someone who identifies as neither or non-binary or somewhere else on the spectrum, your life is about to be touched by the divine feminine magic, never to be the same again. So this is telling you, don't reject your feminine side. I think a lot of men or people who are more masculine or towards the masculine end of the spectrum tend to push this energy away. And even some of us who do identify as female, who are female, because we're afraid that we won't be taken seriously or that we won't be seen as strong or that we won't be heard. There's a way for us to be the true divine feminines that we are, and also to mirror that with the masculine energy. Sometimes when our feminine energy is off, we can have a hard time attracting things we want in our life. We can have a hard time manifesting. Sometimes it's hard to attract love. So whatever you can do to work on your feminine energy is going to be good right now, and you'll find that naturally your life is being touched by this. And you're going to start feeling more called to explore your goddess energy and explore the divine feminine within you. So I think that's fascinating. I hope that this reading resonates with you. Thank you for coming to my channel, and I'll see you next time. Peace out. So for those of you guys who choose number 3, let's get your card. So you're getting the Heart of the Moment card. It's interesting. It's just like a energy type of abstract painting here, but it looks like a vortex to me, like a strong energy that's like pulling you in, but there's like a light at the end of the tunnel kind of feeling to this card. So this card definitely comes with a heavy energy. It's saying that you're at a point in your life where like the past, the present, and the future are all colliding. Meaning that you've been brought to the pinnacle of this moment because you have some very serious decisions to make about your life, your relationships, and about your future. I'm going to read a little bit of what it says from the book just to start this off. This card brings you a message. You are in a transition zone in your life and relationships. It is one moment that will manifest as many opportunities, where one choice will open up many pathways to fulfillment for you. This is a time in your life to be willing to take a chance or to risk to be happy within yourself no matter what is going on around you. So this card is saying like you have a choice to make, you have a decision to make, and this decision is regards you and your own happiness and your own well-being. But in order to make this decision, you might have to let go of people, places, and situations that no longer serve you. This card in the book and its energy overall is talking about pondering or considering letting go of a relationship or letting go of a person. This could be someone you're literally in a relationship with. This could be someone that you're thinking about maybe from the past, hoping like they'll come back. Maybe this is someone that you think is your twin flame that you've been holding on to for a very long time, but it's just causing you pain and suffering, and it might feel lighter at this time to just let it go, be free, heal, and allow yourself to go out there and date again. For some of you, this is letting go of an ex that you still have hope maybe they'll come back, or maybe this is someone that you're hooking up with who doesn't want a commitment, even though that's something that you want, and you're just like, I need to make space, I need to make room. So it's really like a make room message. This is also a message perhaps about friendships or like frenemies or people that are around you, could even be family members who are jealous of you or who have projecting things onto you, or maybe, I'm trying to find a way to word this because, you know, it is kind of unfortunate that sometimes the people that are closest to you might not always have the best intentions. Sometimes those people are holding you in a certain energy, in a certain light, because they've always known you to be one way or this way, or they perceive you this way, or because they're not growing very much in life, they want to hold back your growth, or maybe they're like kind of energy vampires or a little toxic. And this isn't always something that we realize overnight. Sometimes it's a gradual process of realizing, wow, this person or these people really are limiting me. I find myself really nervous about putting myself out there or being my true self or trying new things or making changes. I really put this person on a pedestal. I put their judgments and their opinion on a pedestal, and I'm really worried I'm going to upset them, or what are they going to think? So if you're in a situation or there's people around you you feel like you can't grow with, or you are worried of disappointing, or you're afraid that you can't like make changes or pursue your happiness because these people might be jealous, or they might tear you down, or they might not agree, then you've got to distance yourself from these people. You've got to make some space. Some people in life want to dull your sparkle, and I'm talking about this from personal experience, probably why you see my eyes darting around a lot. I'm getting a lot of flashbacks and memories right now about times where I was best friends with somebody for years, and I started changing, I started expanding, I started pursuing things, and like I started getting opportunities, and they were over in the background kind of sulking. Whenever I would share my ideas or my dreams with them, they would kind of put them down. And it was very covert, very passive aggressive. And I always want to see the best in people. So it took me a long time to realize I have to release. Like, I'm literally stuck choosing between them and myself. So if anyone ever puts you in that position, choose yourself. Always choose yourself, even if you have to be alone. Even if it's your parent, you know, you might need to move out and get some distance so that you can be your true self. And then you can redefine your relationship with your family. I talk to so many people who are living with their parent, their mom or their dad or their family, and they're like, I can't do this, I can't be myself, I can't do this because of them. And I'm like, yes, you can. I've traveled the world. I know there's different cultures and there's different ways of being, and in some places family is everything, and it's a huge faux pas to go against your family's wishes, or to step out of that, or to get your own place, or to move away or something. But I'm here to remind you that you are a free, sovereign being, and you don't have to be disrespectful, but I feel like it's you first. You can't disrespect yourself to please other people. So that's something I've learned growing up. It's something I learned especially in my 20s, and this can happen with coworkers. I've seen people afraid to leave their job because they're worried they're going to disappoint their boss, or they're worried about like some of their friends who are coworkers and leaving them behind, or like survivor's guilt. And you've got to do what's best for you. I remember back in the day, I've told you guys how I was a swim teacher. I had so many private lesson clients, and I had taught some of these kids from the age of literally 6 months old all the way till they were 8, 9, 10, twice a week. Like, I was like part of these people's family, and it kept me from wanting to get a new job and move on and expand in my life, because I felt like I really owe these people. And when I finally told them, like, I'm moving, I'm getting a new job, I'm moving up in life, and I'm gonna miss you, some of these people were so upset, and they took it so personally, and it was just really shocking. And you know, I stayed at that job way longer than I should, because I thought I was like really obligated to those people, and I did love them, but sometimes you have to love yourself more. Sometimes stepping up in life, or going to the next level, or pursuing your dreams, or pursuing someone that you love, or being in a certain relationship could cause you to piss some people off, you know? I've talked to people who are in arranged marriages who've fallen in love with someone else. They don't want to marry the person in the arranged marriage, and you know, have had to run away with that person or whatever. I mean, I've talked to people in so many situations and personal readings, you name it. Sometimes you have to piss off other people in order to be who you are. Sometimes you have to go against people's wishes. I've talked to people who come from very fundamental religious families who would like to do Reiki, or who would like to do tarot work or something more alternative with their life. I've talked to people who come from a long line of doctors in the family who decided, I don't want to do the doctor thing like my dad and their dad and his dad and his dad. I want to paint, and I'm literally going to have to run away and support myself and walk away from my trust fund in order to do this and be who I am. There's people out there who've risked so much for who they are, who've had to run away, who've had to, worst case scenario, cut off everyone and start over. Like, if that's you, if one of you guys is listening, don't be afraid if that's what you need to do. I think for a lot of you guys, you're gonna realize that the people who truly love you will give you like a natural amount of space. If your family really loves you, they'll let you move out and figure out your life, or maybe it'll be awkward for a couple years, because I think for a lot of you guys, your families or your friends might just be worried about you, or they could just be projecting their own worries and fears onto you, and naturally over time, you draw a little bit of boundary, you get just a little bit of healthy emotional distance, and you can define who you are and move forward. That happens the majority of the time. So your fears about not being accepted for who you are, or that this person will disown you, or that you're gonna have to, this friend or whoever won't accept you, or will really hold it against you, or you'll upset someone. Maybe you will for a small amount of time, but the people who really do love you will be happy that you're happy. And I think that's kind of what happens the majority of the time. So this is saying, you're entering a time in your life where your past and your future are colliding. In this present moment, you have a powerful opportunity to decide how you wish to continue in a certain pattern of relating. This might mean leaving a relationship or starting a new one. But even if you cannot yet make that decision of like exactly what to do with peace in your heart, you can still partake in the heart of the moment and decide how you shall choose to be. Will you speak? Will you choose to let go of shame and criticism, of judgment and anxiety, of loss and despair, and just be with your own heart now? Will you choose in this moment to trust yourself? Even if that trust says that you have to wait a while longer before you can make a more long-term decision? This is a time where you can alter your future, stepping into a relationship with another, with the divine, with yourself, in a new way. Even the smallest choice for love is a step in the best direction. I love that. So I don't want to ignore the fact that maybe this is a lot of what's going on in your mind. A lot of the fears and the worries and the doubts and the judgments and the criticisms and the anxieties that we have going around in our head, some of them are not ours. Some of them are just like a weird mashup of our worst fears. A lot of it isn't real. And when you choose love, you tell yourself, I choose love. I choose not to repeat those tapes that are playing in my head. I choose to take that tape out and put a new one in. Gosh, I'm so old school. CD, MP3, podcast. Put a new podcast in your brain. I choose to hit play on something else, and what I'm going to hit play on is I'm safe, I'm secure. It doesn't matter what people think. I can be who I am. I'm here on this planet in this amazing world. I can do what I want. I can be who I want. There is no restriction over me. I'm a sovereign divine being. Abundance is my birthright. Love is my birthright. I have the ability to love myself. Love is enough. I'm here. I'm now. I'm in this moment. I'm in this body. I'm breathing. I'm sitting. That's all. All I have to do is be the witness. I don't have to be everything to everyone. I don't have to please everybody. I don't have to be what society wants me to be. I don't have to please all these people in my life. So anyways, we're going off. You're getting schooled by Rainbow Harmony today. So I'm interested to hear what you think about this reading. That's the message that just really wanted to come out to you today. The main thing is, like, you don't have to make any big decisions right now. You just might be overwhelmed because you're getting a lot of downloads and you're starting to have a lot of realizations about your relationships, or maybe about the relationship you have with yourself or your situation, or some choices you want to make. There's a message telling you don't have to have it all figured out right now. Sometimes in the moment, just your attention and your awareness and your self-love is enough to help you kind of ride through these intense energy waves. No doubt the lockdown that a lot of us are going through right now is causing a lot of these things to come up. Like, everyone's going through a life review right now. People are finally sitting in stillness with themselves for the first time in so long. And so it can be really interesting to finally just face yourself and face what's really going on and what's really restricting you in this time. But it's a beautiful, powerful time. It's a time where you can take your power back and you can just embrace yourself through this. Love is enough. That's my final message to leave you with today. So I hope that this resonated with you. Thank you so much for coming to my channel, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.